Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. I'm Dave Lees.
And I'm Jonathan Byer, and I'm making Dave do this very early. Thanks for doing this, Dave.
It is okay. This and that. We are going to be previewing the 2023 World Figure Skating Championships that are going to be taking place in Saitama this coming week. And we're going to be reviewing that Russian show program tournament that happened yesterday and all the things. So if you are new here, please subscribe below. Remember to smash that like button. Jonathan, it was like pro skating was back, but a little bit busted.
It was 100% like throwback to the 90s pro skating. I couldn't believe the production value and commitment they gave to this show.
Yes.
Every single number had set pieces, had specific things. Like there was
Is that good or bad?
Well, it's a good indicator that they wanted to put that kind of money and attention into the show. But it was interesting because clearly everyone was required to have some sort of like set piece or prop. And you know that's totally my favorite thing, is to see a lovely prop piece of furniture in an exhibition routine. We saw tables. We saw flowers, we saw mounds of hills, we saw light up moons, we saw drag.
So yes, so I felt like they really tried, which was great. I actually felt like with some more time and thought, as we have said all along, I think that you could have these skaters do like a technical program and an artistic program where they can use all of their props and lighting, and some of it was very impressive. I was like, how did Yagudin practice or imagine that with the spotlights, and where did the ideation, what came first? But yeah,
somersault, a lot of somersaults in this.
Yes, but yeah, I felt like there were some of these skaters. We've always said that the Russians, some of the women, in this race to rotate over the last decade, don't really have very good skating skills that show as they age, as well as their bodies that get diminished by all of the jumping, and they don't really have that ability to perform and stretch and skate into their older years, and that was evident here.
Yes. And I was also thinking this is an IJS epidemic as well, because again, they're maximizing their points, and we've talked about that the system at the moment doesn't really encourage that individual big open skating. So when you have some of the retired champions who are now making the highlight technically of their program a spread eagle or a hydroblade moment,
yeah,
you see how much it lacks.
Zhenya Medvedeva is really diminished, like her ability to move in her body.
And that was her version of a Field of Dreams program?
Was that?
Because they were playing her silver medal thing, and then it sounded like a very sad piece.
I don't know what that. I mean, I needed Tracy Wilson to explain why, like, was Kondratyuk like the Petit Prince, and yes, why was Annie Lennox playing during that?
Because it's supposed to be so weird. It was just on Broadway last season. They had a big production, and it looked almost identical in some ways to what they were trying to simulate. And then when he pulls out the flower at the end, I thought he was going to do Peter Pan or something when he came out in that outfit.
He's an interesting one. They have really kept his career alive.
Yeah.
Some I wanted more of, some I wanted less of. I wanted more of Elena Rodionova.
She always, despite her posture, she always knew how to give you a show. She always had razzle dazzle, if not a good back position. Yeah.
I didn't know, did she do any actual skating?
Not that I saw, but when she did stand still and just dance in a stationary spot, she looked great.
Listen, Sandra has always told us this is a star-driven sport. It's a personality-driven sport. And I think Rodionova showed that. Like,
arguably the most.
I think that's why this was successful, is because these Russian skaters, which I have said all season, were some of the biggest personalities in the sport, along with Yuzu, along with Nathan, but even bigger than Nathan, right? Like Yuzu has a bigger personality. And the sport has been missing that this season, right? All of a sudden we have like the girl in the back from music.
Everyone for this, like, yeah, people I had all but forgotten about they really made everyone show up to this, which makes a huge difference because you realize the depth of personalities.
Yeah, I just felt like how many of them have been missing from whether you like the actual skating or not. The sport has really been missing these personalities this season. You love to hate them, you hate to hate them, you love to, all of those mix, you love to love, it's such a mix, but there's all of that, and it seems like it's really it was fun to see.
And for some, it seems like there's great potential in this genre for them, like a Kolyada and Peter Gumenik, like
yes.
We're giving you like some really, even though it was a little cheesy and I didn't always understand what was happening, they were giving committed performances and it was fun. Like Ilia trying to do this like tumbling over and under a table, which was at times successful and at other times
like his regular skating. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But you see like, oh, they're creative, some of these skaters that don't get to show it in regular competitive arenas. So I don't know, there's something to really committing the time and the money to a production like this. But again, it has to be there. Some of them you could tell threw together a show program that was like those just rolling around on the ice kind of moment.
Poker Elia didn't have a program 11 days ago, so I thought, okay, we need to put some more time into this. This is why we need the two programs. They could do a jump combination. We could see, a little bit. I did feel like some of them, you could see that they've done all of those weird like shows on ice, even though there's not a lot of skating that happens, but they're big productions. And like Zhenya is such a performer and she's such a star. She needs to be involved as a commentator or whatnot. Okay, I'm going to get hate for this. I feel extremely sad every time they trot out Alina Zagitova, and it always seems like it's for like a public flogging or ridicule, right? Everything they do is like, here's this really beautiful girl who's not smart. It's basically the Russian way that they cover her.
I'm telling you, it followed this Medvedeva performance that was, I'm almost positive had something to do with her disappointment at the Olympics, because that was the footage they kept showing with all the like commentators over it, reading her score. Doing all that sort of stuff. So then for her to come out afterwards and give sort of an apologetic program where she just kind of stands in front of an old-timey microphone in a wig.
No, she was Marilyn Monroe, Jonathan, essentially in a like Caldor costume, bargain basement wig. That was an unfortunate wig that she was wearing. We couldn't get a better one, but they did add a level of Russian cringe because on Russian Sports Route, one of the ways that these athletes get a lot of attention is they will kind of thirst trap post photos. Medvedeva, Zagitova, Kolyada. Anytime someone is like shirtless or Zagitova in a sweater and socks with no pants, like front of the Russian websites, right? For March 1st, for first day of spring, they called it, right? They just, of course, they had to add the level of cringe to Marilyn Monroe. So what do, Jonathan? At the very end of that program, the skirt goes up with a wind machine. And it was as tasteless and cringe you would expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have nothing to add. Correct. Yes.
It's like, they did have the one fun number where Matveev at Lugin like did all of like bits of other Russian programs over the years.
From Zagitova to Yagudin.
Yes, to Kunisheva's exhibition where she was the flight attendant. Yes, it was a moment.
It was a moment. Because they were almost all asked to do these sort of like buttons. Like after the program, then there would be one final button. Like that's when Trankov like got his hair cut in the Samson and Delilah like button at the end. Some of it was rather confusing. And they were also, the kiss and cry looked like just car seats.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what that was. I needed Tracy Wilson to really be like, and now Alina Zagitova as Marilyn Monroe. The last time I saw a Marilyn Monroe number that was that uncomfortable was when Tanya Kwiatkowski did Ice Wars. I was in 8th grade. I remember it vividly.
Yeah.
And I remember at 13 being horrified.
Yeah.
I thought maybe show skating was not for her. And because she also had a really cringy Black Cat number one year. And at this point, I thought that we should retire Tanya from the circuit. You know, this was,
yeah, some are not designed for shows. Yeah.
I didn't know who was making her numbers, but I felt, yeah.
She would have needed to have gone like a Rosalind Sumner's route. Like,
you know, I just don't know if she had it in her.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Rosalind is a true queen, Jonathan. Okay.
It's true. It's true. But you know, I was like sort of fascinated by that they gave like kind of a nice show program was Akacheva here.
Okay, yes.
He came down with like the light up crescent moon.
Yes.
The way it was, you were like, yes, this is kind of the production value that could be interesting. Then there was like a beach ball earth, like on the other side of the ring. But when she came down in the moon and she kind of had the right music and the right dress and everything, I don't know, the whole thing was kind of a nice moment. Actually, I thought that was a positive highlight of the show, and I didn't necessarily expect that from her.
Yeah, I felt like Anya, you know, Sherbakova would be good enough for a non-Russian choreographer. She has a sensitivity to music, but this was a little busy, but she has a real like feeling for music and something to say, but it just was not the most successful because a lot of clutter in her movements, but it was nice.
Even in the production value, because it was like a film noir kind of thing she was doing. So they had the movies playing and there's a chair over here and there's a this over there. And
a bench. Okay.
I had anxiety. I thought they were going to run into it because they kept placing them everywhere all over the middle of the rink.
Well, did you see that Sherbakova fell on a waltz jump on the way out? Which is one of those unfortunate things, but it was just like an amazing moment. Even the best, even the Olympic champions fall down sometimes. So.
They get up. Yeah.
She did get up. Okay, like how horrifying. She got up and it didn't even happen. It didn't phase her. Okay, it was great. Yeah. How about Tuktamisheva? Okay, she was doing La Comparsita at a ballet bar, but also sort of doing unsuccessful tango arms herself. It was a moment, okay?
Well, and I had seen the still of the video long before I actually got to see the full program. So you see her at the ballet bar and you're thinking, okay, is she doing like a ballet thing? Is she doing like some flash dance fame thing? And then when the music started playing, I thought this was the last thing I anticipated. I would never have heard this music and thought, oh, ballet bar is going to be the perfect addition.
You know, each skating community has its own subculture, and the Russian subculture of show, by far the most interesting. I just don't always understand what's going on, but they feel everything very deeply. Sinitsa and Katsalapov, can you translate what was happening? I feel like you're in operas, you might understand this sort of pageantry more. He was a doctor, he was a dentist.
And when he came out, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone wear a mask in a Russian arena.
Yeah,
That's what I was doing. Yeah, and I was like, oh, he's a doctor. He's a doctor. Got it. Nope, not a clue.
It was not Little Shop of Horrors, but
yeah.
I enjoyed it, but yes, but Tarasova needed to be commentating and she wasn't. So,
right. Although they're and often pictured.
So they've pulled her from Channel 1, and they said it was for like supporting Plushenko when he said that the judges were against him, but it seems unclear if that was the real reason. Do they have an axe to grind? Is Tchaikovskaya seeking vengeance against her? So yes, I don't really know what is happening.
I would imagine it's not the easiest of personalities to have on deck when you're doing a broadcast. So I wonder if for them, this was an easier.
Do you think Dick Button was easy?
Nope. I bet Scott and Sandra were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine that Dick, actually I've heard Dick was.
Yeah, can you imagine being the production team and be like, oh God, here it goes, here it comes. Yeah.
Okay, so I have to post it this week, but we were watching it on TSL Live and I was debating if I'm gonna make like one of those compilations again. Them covering the 82 worlds. I think it was the first time that Peggy did a world championships. I'm not positive, but it felt like it.
Okay.
Peggy is so herself from 84. Like she hadn't been softened yet.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay.
And her feelings about Elaine's Zayach skating like really come out at the end. It's like, and it's turned out now, and she's like, and I think she has a long way to go. Like that's how she ended Elaine's winning moment, right?
Yeah.
But then Rosalind goes and she's like popping jumps, and she's like, Peggy's like, but she still has a lot of speed and flow, and there's a lot of lightness to Rosalind. See, her jumps are very light. There's a light quality.
Hey. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's as good as you could hope for.
Okay.
Oh,
I have to go rewatch all those. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, this has been an interesting week. We are coming to the World Figure Skating Championships. It feels like we haven't seen some of these skaters in a while because they didn't.
Wait, really quick before we get into Worlds, what about this Aliona and Robin article?
Okay. What's your real opinion of them getting back together? You have a soft spot for both of them, I know.
Yeah, kind of in a weird way. Although that's going away maybe for Aliona a little bit. The more we sort of hear about her training methods, but I don't know what their beef was with each other initially. So I wonder what kind of softening has happened that now they're teaming up, because they always would have been a logical sort of. I don't know, and it was very possible to me initially when she went to Bruno, maybe Robin would have been a part of that team in this sort of Alexa and Brandon and Chris sort of situation.
How honest can we be?
I say go for it. I think she would be honest.
They both have accomplished absolutely nothing in coaching. He has had 70 different jobs, been to 70 different rinks in the US everywhere, and don't know why, but he has not succeeded. I don't have enough information to understand if it's motivation or what. And she seems to be too much. Yeah. So together they did win 5 world titles or 4, whatever. I mean, they won together. What? Who cares? They won a lot of world titles. Okay, they won, yes, because she won the
world titles.
Yes. And it give everyone something in the comments to feel very superior about. But the important part is maybe he can balance her out, because she's a lot and he is less, like way more relaxed, to the point where he doesn't seem the most driven. So I think
working for a while at the rink in California where Jenny and Todd are.
He was there. He was with Nina Mosier, remember? He was at one point he was in New Jersey.
Okay.
He's been everywhere.
Okay.
But like he was in New Jersey, like working the pole harness. And I was like, you're an Olympic medalist and like have a lot to offer. And he was like the pole harness guy. It's like one of those bizarre things that I don't even know if many people remember that he was ever there. Like, skaters have retired and moved on and like,
yeah. Okay.
We have had a cast of characters come through Jersey, and we just, someone worked with the Israeli Federation, then they fired someone, then they bring them back, then Daniel Rad's working with them, then he teaches a jump class, and, allegedly kids are told if you take from him, we're not taking, like, there's so much drama that happens in New Jersey, like with coaches, like, you don't even know, okay? Like, it is just a revolving door of federations and countries and nationalities and passports and Reed siblings and Tobias and like Morozov coming in. And yes, okay.
And apparently Robin on the harness at times.
Robin on the harness, Nikolai Morozov choreographing. The names of other people are put on Nikolai programs because no one wants that stain. Yes, it all happens in Jersey. All right. So
happening there. Okay. Good to
all
know.
Happening. Okay. Yeah.
Did the article say where they were going to be coaching?
I think in Germany, because that's where she's based. And
okay.
She doesn't seem like, a giver. So yeah, I think that is probably what's going on. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, how long do you think it'll last?
Well, nothing seems to be sticking with either of them. So
nothing seems to be sticking in the sport in general these days. So I mean, who really knows what's happening? How long does the sport have left? So I'm not sure. But this is. Are these the last World Championships? What's happening? But I feel like Yuzuru Hanyu needs to come back, Jonathan. It's what I feel. And I know his fans will say that
something big needs to happen. Yeah.
Something big needs to happen. I think not only do they think they need to come back, I think they need to pay him to come back. like $1 million.
Yeah.
Like, we need your personality and your talent.
What can we do? Yeah.
Yeah. Because Shoma is great, but he's not magnetic in that way.
Well, and doesn't quite have the, yeah. And again, it's just one person. There needs to be some depth of personalities that are at play here in order to make it work. Yeah. Because in the men, to me, of the real contenders, he is the personality. Yes, both Frenchmen, for instance, have personalities. And I suppose it's a wild card where Adam may finish, but really in that upper echelon, there's not too many very powerful, personable artists to me.
Can we be honest? Hubble and Zach. That second tier I Am school. I'm sorry, Marie-France. I think Hubble and Zach could come back for next season. I think that they would be just fine. You know, like it would be
Speaking of Marilyn Monroe. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It needs something. It needs something needs to revitalize sort of the energy.
Yes.
And surprisingly for me, so far anyway, I'm not getting that from Worlds.
I think I'll enjoy Worlds. I do.
I think I will once it's there. You know what I mean? But sometimes there's like such a frenzy of excitement inside, like how certain things are going to play out. But this time,
because there's a lack of depth.
Yeah, yeah.
In certain disciplines, like one of our favorite disciplines to cover every year is pairs.
I love pairs,
but it's hard to get excited about pairs when there are 3 good pairs or 4 good pairs, whatever. And some of the pairs in the top 10 that could finish or are doing like side-by-side doubles or
throw doubles,
right? Like that's a situation for pairs to be in. So,
but in terms of the pairs, I'm curious whether you think this is going to go the way of the Japanese or if it's going to go Alexa and Brandon.
Jonathan, I think everyone is going to be on Alexa and Brandon's side, and I think that Alexa will perform. She's an emotional girl. You know how she's feeling. This is going to be the Todd Sand World Championships.
Okay.
When this happened, I said to Bruno Marcotte, as soon as Alexa posted the Aliona article, I just said, just so you know, no one is going to be rooting for the Japanese. And he said, I know.
I think, yes, the sentiment side is definitely going to be leaning towards Alexa and Brandon. I just don't know under that kind of circumstance whether being emotional, you skate up as a result, or
are they going to reveal how bad Todd's situation was? Because, we still have never said how he's doing. So I think that they need to tell the full story. The week of the World Championships, you can have Alexa getting down on her knees like Nicole Bobek at the end of her performance, and we have got a world title. Okay.
Well, I mean, what's also interesting
is sport needs a star, and these Canadians doing these sappy, saccharine, melancholy programs that are the same every year, not getting it done. You know who's going to get it done? Alexa, who posted something about Aliona destroying her confidence and her sense of self while she was there. Todd Sand saved her, and then he had a heart attack at Worlds. But you know what? He had gotten her to the world title, and now she wants to win her last competition for Todd Sand. I'm freaking on board for that. Okay.
Well, I mean, it could.
I will overlook Brandon Frazier's hunched shoulders, okay, and be like, he has put off going to Vegas for gambling like long enough to win a world title, to be reliable for her, and by golly, he lifted her to new heights. And yes, okay, Alexa is going to win, okay?
You are coming in loud and clear, Dave. Coming in loud and clear. How you feel?
You know who's going to be the first person to congratulate her on her win? Ty Babylonia. All right. Okay.
As a fellow American world champion in pairs, yeah.
She and Randy wrote them an official letter last year that was posted on social media.
That's funny. I mean, it's just a strange thing to not have your team with you when you're training for it. But if anyone could do it, I think given their level and their age and their experience coaching, they would have stayed on track. That wouldn't have been as disruptive as it may have been for a younger team.
Does anyone know how Mr. Hendrickx is doing? Could he take them to Worlds? I think it'll probably be Christy Binder that takes them to Worlds because Chris Knierim is in Chicago. But could Mr. Hendrickx take Alexa to Worlds to get, or could he coach her over FaceTime?
Yeah.
Or could Todd coach them over FaceTime? You know, like how Keegan brings in the baby from the Kiss and Cry?
Right.
Mr. Nix and Todd together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
Listen, I think this is what we have to do. Jonathan, sentiment is on their side. All jokes aside, sentiment is on their side. Okay.
100%.
Like they are. But really, this world's like needs theatricality. It needs something. It needs a tearjerker moment. And listen,
someone to really root for.
You're rooting for the Japanese. I can feel it in you. I can feel it.
No. I in this is a field in which it will just be fun to see how it plays out.
Okay, so you're rooting for the Japanese. You're not a believer. Okay.
No, I said no such thing. I
could feel it in your energy. Did anyone else feel that when Jonathan just was like,
what
I think it'll be fun to see what plays out.
I'm curious what if they can hold it together. That because that's a big ask. That's all I'm saying.
Alexa,
yes,
I believe in you, Alexa. Jonathan, well, may not be.
That's not,
I've always said that Alexa is a gritty girl. Okay.
Yes, she is. How
she overcame your friend Aliona destroying her confidence. And now she is, because of Todd Sand. Okay.
She rises again. Yeah.
She rises again. All right.
Now, speaking of rising again, what about Deanna?
I believe in Deanna.
Have we heard anything about, this could potentially be like their healthiest run-up of training of this season.
Oh,
yeah.
I believe in Deanna. I think she's coming under the radar.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I expect a clean, sassy short program. And I'm ready. And I want to see Leah and Trent. They have been on the rise and far less frightening than Danny O'Shea and his partner. So I'm rooting for Leah and Trent. I feel like the age difference is more appropriate. It feels just more comfortable for us to watch as viewers. So I'm there.
And Spencer, after their moment at Four Continents, I'm curious if
we always enjoy Olga,
Yeah.
I think that they have a good shot for being top 5, top 6 as well. Yeah. And I would think, looking at this, the Germans, have 2 pairs that are certainly
the Italians that keep coming into the mix.
Listen, the Italian pair, I think that they have a great shot at a medal. I think that Deanna's more of the outside shot of a medal, but with, their run of luck that they had this year, I don't know, right? If they have, but it could happen. So, but Sarah Conti and Nicola, Masi, I think that Deanna and Max are a higher quality team. It just comes down to consistency.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And yeah, Brooke and Brent so it's, it's an interesting little mix, I think, for the situation for that. Also, in the ice dance event, the Hungarian competitor, who is a Ukrainian living in Moscow, got stabbed this week.
Oh, what?
But he's still going to Worlds.
What do you mean stabbed?
Yeah.
Like in a random attack?
Yeah, but it was very wish-washy. Of course, now he's blaming the media for blowing it out of proportion because he wants to go to Worlds, right? But they immediately said that he was going to leave Russia. But apparently he's a Ukrainian in Moscow, and he has a tattoo of the Ukrainian flag with the symbol, or there's some Ukrainian tattoo on his arm. Mm-hmm. So, a little concerning. But they're still representing Hungary there. And yeah,
I really am dumbfounded right now.
Yes.
I don't know how to respond to any of that.
Well, originally the article was it was a stab wound, then it was a scratch, then it was an attack. It has changed, but this is normal for the Russian press lately. We have to call it out. I know that Averbuk doesn't want us to talk about Kostomarov, but Jonathan, you will literally read an article that says Kostomarov is doing better. And then 2 hours later, it says Kostomarov is going to have another amputation, but his body is fighting sepsis and it's not, healthy for them to have the operation yet. And you're like, okay, which one is true? Averbook doesn't want us
Two
to talk.
drastically different reports. Yeah.
So, and like, which one are we not supposed to believe? And then people are like, well, they need privacy. And you're like, okay, well, the press is reporting on this every day. So eventually your logical brain is like, all right, which is the truth and which is the BS?
Yeah.
Like, do we think that he needs another amputation, that his body's in sepsis? Well, he's already had how many amputations? And then they say that he's not really awake. And then that this is happening. At a certain point, your brain is like, all right, they don't want us to talk about it. Why? You know, you want to hope for the best, but there are varying reports that come out. But really, their press has been ridiculous. And
I've only seen bleak reports about him. I didn't know there were other ones saying it wasn't so bad.
They will magically say that he is doing better, and that no, I'm not even joking. Like I'm not exaggerating. I'm not like this. Okay, I'm getting it out. Like 1 second. I'm getting Sports Rue up, which everyone should be reading, like the New York Times. Really. Oh my God, we forgot about Valieva as the Native American or Native Russian. Like what?
It was something. Yeah, she came out of a teepee and was banging a drum. So
and it rained at the end.
Yeah, with actual water. And then the other thing we forgot to mention was
does she have another season in her? Like I don't know, right? Like there's a weird energy there too.
Well, it was Moselow's performance, and it made me think, wasn't there an incident where someone skated over someone's finger?
Fleur Maxwell had her finger
I don't know if we were going to mention her name or not, but
yes.
When Moselov was skating in between all of these like female extras that were on the ice with all their hands spread while he skated in between them. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is like a finger incident waiting to happen.
Well, wasn't that Mariah Bell's ex-boyfriend that skated over her finger? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And he skated into Aretha Silette.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. A multiple offender.
Okay, so they've stopped talking about okay, here we go. Oh, they took one down. Okay, March 10th. Go to his tag. Okay, so they say, it looks like they took one of the articles down. So on March 10th, it said at 21, it said that his continued to improve, right? Now the 12th is saying, okay, so March 12th, Roman Kostomarov's health is improving in all aspects. March 13th, doctors may discuss the issue of removing Kostomarov from the ventilator if positive dynamics in his condition continue. Also March 13th, 3.5 hours later, Kostomarov will need a new amputation, but his weakened body is not yet ready for surgery due to the risk of cardiac arrest. Besmianova about Kostomarov. It seems to me that everyone is lying. No one will tell the truth. March 17th, Roman Kostomarov is conscious. His condition has improved. They removed the tracheotomy. Okay, so who knows what? Yeah. Okay, like I think Besmianova is the only one who is correct here. Right. Everyone is lying in this situation. Right. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What a mess.
What a mess. I could see situations where either side is lying.
Yeah.
If you say something bad, it keeps it in the press. If you say something good, it could be, they're lying to, who knows?
Okay? But I just can't believe I missed that stabbing story. That's horrifying.
Yes, Daniil Semko in Moscow. So, yeah.
But dance is going to be one of the more interesting disciplines, I think, for me, because I think there's so much variation that can happen in that top six. I'm really intrigued whether this is I think Evan and Madison really increased their chances.
Well, there was an ice dance scandal at Junior Worlds that we haven't gone into yet, but I'm going to make a video because I actually taught myself how to edit and put like a timer on the video.
Okay.
Your Worlds, there's been like an inside, the fans haven't been crazy about this, but within the ice dance world, it's all anyone is talking about.
What happened?
Gracie Gold dates that British ice dance boy. So like she is on top of this too.
Okay.
One of the teams, the British team, lost the bronze medal at the World Juniors because of an extended lift. Now, the timekeeper was Canadian. there was a protest filed. You know, Carol Lane's team that had previously won the final won the bronze. But if you watch that lift, it is also freaking extended. It was not called.
Oh, no.
Now, I don't know if you can petition another score or only your own score.
Oh.
Like, you know how in gymnastics, you can petition your score, but can you say that someone missed a deduction for someone else?
Right.
I don't know.
How late does that have to be? I mean, how late can that be filed?
It has to be before the medals go out, which there was a petition filed. But if you watch that situation, and you know ice dance is political as can be for these bronze medal. And of course, what did Frank Carroll tell us about Canadians?
They're not the friends we think they are.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Caroline's team that played the violin metaphorically, like Rudy Galindo, got the bronze over the lovely British team. They're both great teams. And neither of this has anything to do with the skaters. I think they both have great futures. They were both fantastic.
Yeah.
Frankly, Jonathan, I didn't know that much about these dance teams until this lift situation happened. Now I'm so invested. Okay.
Yeah, because again, my focus has so been on the Czech junior dance team. I don't have time for anyone else. Yeah. Okay.
Caroline. Okay. That Caroline, you know, has a team that's going against Marie France for.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Are you feeling that Madison Chock will pull this out for the glory of Marie France?
I certainly think it's more possible than I did in the fall.
Or are Piper and Paul going to dance the night away and look into each other's eyes for an uncomfortably long amount of time after their free dance to milk those scores?
I think it's 60-40. I think it's 60 Canadians.
Okay.
I'd have to say, I think it's going to, again, the gap was bigger earlier. But you say what?
It's 50-50.
As even as that. Okay. Okay.
And I heard that Helena Gordon-Poltaric got pulled off of the technical panel. So I don't know which way it's going to go. And I don't know which Canadian, you know, is in with her, like Marina Zueva. Like, I don't know. But I heard that there's going to be a Japanese person on the technical panel. So I think this will be a more successful championships for Daisuke than the Four Continents when he was at altitude and had been doing shows before it and not running that program. So, because I think that they can't do full programs every day anyway. So I think that they will be far better trained and the karma will be on their side for a better outing than
but so now do you then sort of see the Italians slotting in for third?
Unfortunately, yes.
I think so as well.
And I believe that they will be with us until 2026, unfortunately.
Yeah, I most likely. But I'm intrigued where then the other Canadian team fits in. Both the Canadians and Marjorie.
By the way, I was with someone yesterday that told me the theory that Hendrickx had bought the entire panel and had lined it all up in Torino, that the Italians were supposed to win, which is why Barbara was so mad at Maurizio.
Yes, I believe that.
Over Navka. I mean, who's very close to Putin. Don't forget. It's hard to imagine, but even that is why, yes. Remember, the Italians won the compulsories.
Just saying. There's a reason the look was as profound as it was.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, the British team. I think the British team could really make a big move here.
Listen, yes, I think top 5, top 6, right?
I think final group. Yeah.
And how about the Canadians, Laurence Fournier-Baudry and Nikolai Sorensen? Listen, her abs are coming in for this championship, okay? And that free dance, as long as they don't mess up the ending pose, again, I think good things are going to happen. Yeah. I think there's a little competition within the competition between them and the British team.
Yes, agreed.
But I wonder what the politics will happen, because does Canada have to like not go as heavy for their second team to allow
Marie France team? So it's also like,
well, yeah, because is Canada working together or not, right? Because there are two like Canadian teams, but from different schools, and they have different agendas, right? Like that's.
I mean, let's just consistently keep driving the Canadians higher and higher. That's for sure. But I don't think they can.
Ice dance is very 50-50. Like you have to skate and you have to have your politics in order and you have to have good programs, right? So yeah, I don't.
It will be very interesting. And actually where Green and Parsons falls in. I mean, this will be the biggest matchup of everybody. So I'm just curious to see sort of that status quo of how people are being ranked and viewed in the big picture here.
Well, unfortunately, they have that terrible freedom here. I mean, it's just
that doesn't help. That doesn't help. And yet, I'm curious where they'll put them. Yeah.
Like, why don't they just go back to last year's free dance? Could they pull it out tomorrow if we gave them enough time? Like,
I think it was so good, but
I think everyone in the world is like, oh, if only you were doing last year's free dance.
But they weren't getting the appreciation for it then.
They were 4 continents champions.
Well, in an Olympic year.
Yeah, but they were great. They did so well. They moved up to 4th, and they were in an incredibly stacked American field.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just. And listen, that other team from their old coaches is basically doing the same program, but different music.
Right.
Yes.
Here, you do it. Yeah.
Homage, if you will. Okay. I think it's great. Also, Christina and Anthony, Caroline, but call it. I think you're Team Piper and Paul.
I think it's Piper, Paul, Madison, Evan, Italians.
I don't even know what to think or hope for. I mean,
I'm not saying even that I hope for that, but I mean,
here's the thing, Jonathan. If Madison Chock wins, the Canadians will immediately go into overdrive and be like, she can't skate. So it'll happen. And if the Canadians win, it will be so saccharine, vomitoriously nauseating because of their media,
right,
and all of the Canadian types with a homeworld in Canada that they will surely stick around for.
Yes.
It may cause you to lose every lasting hair on your head. Okay, I'm just telling you how this will happen. I don't know what to root for. It's not Piper and Paul. It is how the media and the Canadian figure skating establishment responds.
Right.
There's no good outcome here.
We already know what it looks like.
You know, if Chock and Bates win, they might retire.
Can we afford that?
I mean, who knows? I don't know what to hope for, but this is
kind of thing. If Piper and Paul win this Worlds and then people are angry about it, the repercussions against them will come next season.
I don't know. They will hold them in a world. I'm just telling you, I don't know if Keegan Messing is really retired. He wanted to keep going after Canadians.
Yeah.
Fell twice and they called it the performance of his life. And I was like,
yeah.
So, but then he was great at 4 continents.
Yeah.
So they might need to get a hook. Okay. That man loves skating. I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
There's a home world in Canada. Like, I think he might be with us. Okay. How about for women? What are you thinking?
Okay. This one is, I think Lena's going to do one of 2 things, and it's going to be an extreme either or.
Okay.
I can see her really have rebounded and is going to come out and be the best she's been and be clean. Or I think it's going to be a total implosion. Unfortunately, I fear one extreme or the other.
Okay.
And I don't know which it's going to be, but I think it's going to be extreme.
I think that Kubanova was the most boring European champion in the event's history. This is an event that gave us Katerina Witt and Surya.
Right.
And she is Russian as the day is long. So in my mind, this was a joke. I like Kristen Spoors from our British show. I think that, she didn't know.
Favorite. Yeah.
She was gritty and I'm all for it. Okay. I think Mai Mihara has a fabulous shot at a medal, maybe a silver.
Who knows? I can rely on her consistency the most, I feel. Of all the competitors going in, I feel she will be the most consistent. And given that fact, she can wiggle her way even beyond a silver, in my opinion.
Grand Prix final champion. Okay.
Yeah.
I just listen, I do think it's Kaori's to win or lose. And Kaori has made us frightened this season. We don't know if it's upper limit. Who knows what was happening, but she has gotten into form in the recent competitions. I'm hoping that Kaori really pulls this one out because she is by far the best. And we will see.
Yeah.
And Luna pull off a sentimental bronze? I don't know. Maybe. You know,
or
right?
Can Young Yu hold it together and potentially get this outside bronze?
Young Yu isn't here. You mean Yelim Kim.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Wikipedia, or no, I'm looking at skating scores and it has the S next to it. I'm sorry. I 100% meant Yelim Kim because it's my favorite.
And you like her short program.
And Yelim, not Yelim. Yelim Kim.
Yelim.
I'm doing great this early in the morning. Yelim Kim, I would root for her to get an outside bronze medal. And
then Hyen Lee is out there.
And off some good competitions. I don't know what to expect from Isabeau.
Any of the Americans. You have Brady, where it's like...
But she was on an upward trajectory. Like, I was...
Compared to what? Okay. How many of Brady's jumps were faked by the caller at US Nationals only to like be...
I mean, but for her to have like come from the fall, again, all of this blows my mind. Knowing what we saw in the fall, it never ceases to amaze.
With the costume that she's wearing?
Well, which I don't mind that black with the yellow. I just mind the priest collar. He said wearing the same one, but okay.
You know, if I meditate enough this week, will it become 96 Worlds in Edmonton?
What a dreamy Worlds that was. I think one of my all-time faves.
I think it was the greatest Worlds of all time.
Yeah.
I do think the 2013 was also good. Oddly, Canada hosts a good Worlds. So does Boston. You know,
yeah.
Well.
Agreed.
Okay. Amber Glenn. You got to call it.
I think this may not go great.
Jonathan, it's her World's debut.
I know.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I fear the pressure of this will be too much. Okay. I sort of see a possible implosion. I want to reiterate, that's not what I'm hoping for. I hope she does awesome. I just, given the trajectory of this season, I wonder.
You know, my friend said that Isabeau's practices have been like sometimes great, often dramatic, missed jumps, stomping on the ice, like all of it. Okay. You know that she's like an ice stomper, right?
Right.
That coach seems really calming, you know.
Yeah, I mean, something is very, triggered there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you go and is 4 continents on your mind? I don't know. You know, I don't know what to expect from that. I like how their response was just to completely ignore it. And because skating is the way it is, everyone forgot. Like, yeah, it wasn't. Do you remember that time at 4 continents when Isabeau didn't show up for the warm-up and everyone just never talked about it? Right. They just never gave you a real explanation on what happened. It never went anywhere, that story. And I think a big chapter. Nothing. And you know, the silence is deafening. Yeah. Nothing to see here, right? Yeah. That was. Yeah. But, you know, we did learn that Torgashev had a nail removed from his foot. I mean, Phil Hirsch really delivered the most in that article. And like, they planned it. You know, Raphael is such a showman. He doesn't even show up to the competitions, but he knows how to work the press, right? Oh, Andrew didn't tell you that he had his toe removed? His toenail removed? He sure did, right? Yeah. Like they were able to like work that story. So Raphael freaking delivers in like the Bella Caroli type way. I will never forget when he was backstage at 2016 Nationals, his student Adam won, and he extremely mad that Nathan didn't win. But even in the moment, it seemed performative. Yeah. Yeah, it had been planned. Also, for me, it was Adam's lack of a response at the behavior that told me that Adam had known that was coming. But
it looked like he was setting Nathan up for superstardom by having a little bit of scandal and a little bit of you were robbed, and but it was like so theatrical. So then to see Raphael in the press, you're like, oh,
more of the same.
Raphael, skating needs you. Okay, come to this competition. Okay,
but I do hope Andrew delivers here. Four Continents was a disappointing sort of series after.
You don't say. You don't say. Yeah, for USA to host their own event, and every single person looked like they were in a porta-john on the ice. I mean, it was really.
Yeah, so I hope he's able to pivot from that.
But we didn't see him at Four Continents. We saw him at Challenge Cup, right, in the Netherlands. But
I'm
he was
sorry,
also,
Dave.
It's so early.
I'm really nailing it.
And we
really
saw Naumov also skate like
thank you.
Porta-john.
Gorbachev was the one I liked the most. Yeah.
Him and Jimmy Ma. And
but in that short program, when I was like, are you going to make that minimum? You know, suddenly when pressure's on, it gets nerve-wracking.
Yeah, that's a really good moment for the world team when you're thinking, are you going to make that minimum? I would just like to say that we manifested Jason Brown coming back. We did the good work. Even though his mega fans like didn't get what we were doing with spoofing Sports Rue,
right? And
they were like, thank God. Okay. He has been doing the shows in Japan. He has been gone, but still running his programs for Jason.
He is absolutely going to be the highlight.
He's the highlight of the event. Yeah. Okay.
100%.
Listen. Sandra always said that they put Paul Wiley in the standing O moment. Top of Act 2, the Paul Wiley program would get the standing O and get people into this. That's where Jason is at these world championships for me.
Yes.
Jonathan, give him a medal. I don't care.
Do it. Oh, if only it would happen.
It freaking could. Do you not believe that these men could implode wildly?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to, because
what in the Kevin Amos do you think is going to happen here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess who are you considering outside of Shoma?
Is Kevin going to cry?
Yes, no question, yes.
Good or bad tears? Both? Maybe one program good, one program bad?
Both, yeah, it matters not, but they're happening. They're happening.
Do you want good short program tears or good long program? I would like good long program tears.
Okay.
That means he made it through the short program, so it's not that bad.
Okay, and, yeah. Well, I have to tell you, the French one, I got my eye on is Adam, because this could be a moment, but will it be? I guess
he can do like all the quads now, pretty much, except for Luke, right? He's coming in hot, right? For these worlds.
So he could be.
Will he put in the harder content before he's ready?
Right.
That's what I'm wondering.
I hope not.
He can be very steady, but he has had performances that haven't been.
Right.
He is
he needs that content here.
He's my pick for the broads.
Okay.
He could even be, because who knows what's going to happen with Ilia Malinin. Ilia could win. He could be fourth. He could be fifth. It could be.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of pressure, and he's been doing the shows. I don't know.
But he's been training the last weeks, so.
Okay.
And they've started, like, they're trying to turn him into a personality, so they've started posting stuff on his Instagram. I think we learned that he would like to have dinner with Albert Einstein this week. It was a very random video. It wasn't the best produced. Ari Zakarian, you have a Lodge Ball, like, as one of your, like, clients. Like, come on. Can we get like a little better production value here? Okay, it was very strange and not the best. Okay, come on, you saw how the Russians really delivered the show program tournament. Can we bring back Ice Wars? Can we please have Ashley Wagner performing for us? It's what we want with Mariah. You know,
yeah.
We can show Mariah landing the triple axel.
Amazing.
Mariah was like the star of adult sectionals. Everyone was taking pictures with her. She worked this girl Jackie that I've skated with a couple times in Boston. They brought her as a coach. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, what a personality, I guess.
Yes.
It's Junhwa Cha. That's who I want to see. I want to see him put it all together here.
I would like a timer for how long he waits on the back outside.
I know, because it tells you everything. Yeah. The minute it starts coming to a screeching halt, you're like, whoops, there it goes. So
How high will Jason fit? I think Jason is going to be the climber at these worlds. Okay.
I hope you are correct. I mean, always if Kazuki and Sota deliver, they can always sneak in there as well.
Yeah.
But
Dennis Vasiliev, what will happen with him and Lambiel in the Kiss and Cry? You know, the men's event is going to have the big
in the Kiss and Cry with Daniel Grassel.
Yeah, and Terry.
That
Will
whole
she
story.
go? Is it Terry going to go to work? I don't know. Will she make her appearance? I don't think she's going. I think it'll be Danny G and Dudikoff.
Okay.
Because she didn't commit. Oh, did you read that Terry art? The interview this week with Terry?
Oh yes. Well, I listened to the Battle of the Blades where
As the blade turns.
as the blade turns.
There was one woman that was like, she didn't blame Daria. And I was like, honey, reading comprehension. You have to understand what she really said there.
Right.
They didn't know Daria was injured.
No, except for when they said they did. Yeah.
She also said, I need to put together that and the lift video. Be on me. I'll put it together for today as a bonus.
Okay.
Because they also said that Daria like never had time to learn the triple axel. And I found like a million clips of Daria talking about her triple axel.
They kept talking. Yeah. They were always
seeing Dudikoff on the harness, working with her on the triple axel.
Yikes.
And then I found that clip from the journalist reminded me of like Danny G's story didn't match a Terry's at all.
Right.
But whenever someone from a Terry lies, they're like medical privacy, someone will say, and you're like, they're the ones that are saying it. Okay.
Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Very confusing.
Very confusing. You know, they just have to get their lives in order at Sabo.
I have a meeting. Have a meeting for goodness sakes. Oh, and the other one in the men's division, I'll be interested to see how Boyan Jin looks after 4 comments.
Yes, and are we going to see Tracy?
Yeah, because I think we might get a better sense of sort of what's going on there when it's.
So we're going to see Tracy 3 times, like Junmo Cha, Jinbo Yang, and Jason. Jason should be the best.
It better be.
What is she going to say to Jason?
You inspire.
Okay, I'm Jason Brown. You are Tracy Wilson.
Jason, the art and musicality just flow through you. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm.
Jason after the free program.
Are skating. It would be something like that. Oh my gosh. I hope it's on its way to the podium.
On the way to the podium. The impossible dream, Jason Brown on the podium of these world championships. Okay. Do it for Janet Lynn. Okay. Yes.
Right? Tuba toothpaste. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So do you think Shoma's going to take it?
I think Shoma will deliver. I think he will. Because I think he's the most balanced of the two. Even if he makes some errors, I think the content is there. I don't know who else could challenge him, quite frankly.
Hot take.
Because I think it's possible, and I'm not saying that I hope this, but I think it's possible for Ilia to not end up on the podium.
I was just going to say Shoma first, Kevin second, Jason third, Ilia fourth.
You mean Adam second, not Kevin.
Adam.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Adam. Shoma.
Adam.
Jason.
Would love. Okay.
Ilia.
Interesting.
And I want Phil Hirsch to write that article. Because Jason's a hometown boy, but he loves a quad.
Yeah. What a paradox.
And I would like Alexa to give us more theatricality than Nicole Bobek in Lausanne.
Okay. And ice dance. I like how this is going.
I want a tie. With a tiebreaker.
Yes.
Okay.
An exhibition skate off.
Well, they can't do that. I think it's going to be Piper and Paul. I cannot see. I have this tragic feeling about Chock and Bates. I think Piper and Paul are going to do it.
I think so too.
I don't think they can pull it over the line with that free dance. At the end of the day, the music sucks and it doesn't build.
It doesn't have that like thunderous ovation moment.
and Evita does.
Yeah.
Even though it's a little bit cheesy,
But
it's still great.
Yeah, it's easy to, they'll know they're supposed to stand and have a huge ovation for it.
Yeah. How about for the bronze?
I mean, I think it's going the Italians, but
I think it'll be maybe, but the Italian American, I think she's coming in. I think the Italian American Canadian is going to come in and give us some drama at these one way or another.
I hope so.
I think she's in it. I think she's not out of it. Okay. She is going to claw her way in. All right. She's like, she 40 yet?
I don't think so.
She might be.
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
Because on the Grand Prix, they were saying
39. She turns 40 in June. She's winning the bronze. I'm telling you. Okay. For adult skating.
Right. What an amazing feel-good moment that would be.
Phil Hirsch, she's from Chicago. He'll love her too.
Get on a, yeah. Okay.
One time Phil Hirsch messaged her at an event, but it was to ask how Ashley Kane is doing. So you know what? Deanna deserves an article from hometown Phil Hirsch.
Yeah, she is owed.
Okay. She is owed. And let's see. What else? Ladies. Okay.
Another Chicago girl competing in ladies.
Kaori.
Okay.
Mai.
Okay.
Kimi Rapond.
Of Switzerland?
Yes.
Wait, for real?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say.
Then she's going to do the Wednesday Addams program at the exhibition. Half of the people are going to act like it's brilliant. Half of the people are going to respond, she's copying Valieva.
Correct. Correct. I'm going to be controversial. I think it's going to be Mai.
Winning?
Yeah. I think it's going to be Mai.
And people are going to say that Kaori should have stuck with Benoit. They're going to blame the program.
Yeah. And then Kaori. And then I think it could be Yellem.
All right.
But I don't know. That's what I'm seeing. Person.
All right.
There it is. Only time will tell, Dave.
Wait, you didn't say who's going to win the pairs.
Oh.
You think the Japanese are winning, Jonathan?
Only because I can't imagine performing consistently under such duress, personally. I think it would be really distracting. So I don't know how someone could.
Alexa performed that year at Worlds after she almost died with her surgery. I think she can do this.
I hope she can. I just know that that's a big ask for anyone.
I just want to say that you're manifesting Julie Marcotte being a world champion choreographer.
I hope Alexa wins. I hope Alexa wins.
I'm just saying. All right, Jonathan.
Why didn't you lead with that, Dave? I hope Alexa and Brandon win. I hope Alexa and Brandon.
Listen, you already manifested Piper and Paul winning. Oh my God. If Piper and Paul win, I think we need to go full in on Canada and have Laurence and Nicolaj get the bronze.
That I could see that happening. That Italian program, we need Laurence and Nicolaj to get the bronze. Okay. Unless it comes down to levels. I mean, I think that's where the Italians may still stave off.
Okay, but you know.
Well, it would be fun in such like a topsy-turvy time, like, switch everything upside down on its head. Like, switch all the status.
The best thing I think I watched this week is I think Tony Wheeler got those videos that I was telling you that I messaged that I lost out by one. So he's been uploading on his channel. So he has a lot of gems on there. So
how exciting. Okay.
There's this video. And if you can deal with the bad quality because it's from 1978, not that the videos are all bad, but this particular one, it's worth watching. Janet Lynn had brown hair. But they did like a pro competition and it made me laugh because it was posted yesterday, like the Russian, where they were like figuring out pro skating. So they did like a spin-off, right? But it was a cool thing. And it was within 15 seconds who could get more revolutions.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And they had like Wendy Burge against Janet Lynn in a forward scratch spin.
Okay.
It was like very impressive.
Yeah.
But listen, I look forward to working on my scratch back scratch every day to try to get as many revolutions as I can. So I really like appreciate this.
So that when your 1978 Pro special comes out, you are ready.
I'll tell you something.
You're taking Wendy down. Yeah.
I think of myself like Dorothy frickin' Hamill to channel her every day. After I watched Dorothy do that scratch spin like a million times.
It's amazing.
Which, you know, Gus Lucy taught her.
It's all aerodynamics. Yeah.
Cicely Marr will be very happy that we mentioned Gus Lucy. John, it's just, yes. Okay. And I'm getting one step closer to Russia because I went to the Banya yesterday again for the 4th time. All right.
Oh, yeah.
I did the cold plunge for a full 2 minutes.
Whoa.
Yes. Okay.
You are braver than I. Yowzers.
It was to prove to myself that I could do it. Because a friend of mine did it for 2 minutes and I like watched them last week and I was like, there's no way.
Amazing.
And I had told my coach Alexei, who used to be the Israeli judge, like, oh, you gotta go. And he like would be like, oh yeah. As I'm leaving, walking up the stairs, he's walking down with his wife. I was like,
listen, people, listen. Okay.
But there's a little, like, I have to say there was a little issue with, on Monday, there were Ukrainian flags at the front of the Banya. Saturday, they weren't there. All right. Maybe we have to be neutral for all people to not like get customers mad. Listen, I think Russians would complain, even as they are going for relaxation and tranquility. Yeah. I can see the breaking out.
Yes.
All right. Well, Jonathan, our predictions never give them. I don't know. I'm ready. All right. I'm excited. Are you more excited for Will? I just got very.
I am. Especially once it's upon us. Like, because again, to see all of those people all at once again is going to be really nice.
So. Deanna and Alexa, remember that I was on your side and that Jonathan was wishy-washy. And remember, theatricality wins the day at the World Championships. So Deanna, please be yourself. And Alexa, please be yourself. Hold it, everyone. Bye.